Well, good morning, sunshine. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I cast my own mandala stones. Maybe I'll give you a few tricks to help you avoid those nasty bubbles that you have to fill. Start with your mold. I like the Happy Dotting Company molds. They're great. Um, I have a little tip here. If you take a spray bottle and you put a couple of drops of just regular dish soap in it and fill it up with water, you spray all around the inside of the mold and then take a paintbrush, just brush it all around the inside and up under the edge. And it helps to get rid of those bubbles and work them out the top. I'll also give you a little tip later on in the video with a toothbrush. Keep watching. For my molds, I'll either use plaster of Paris or a Quikrete, which is what I'm using here. With Quikrete, I don't really measure. I just kind of add water until I get the consistency that I need. If it's a little bit too wet, you can always just add a little bit more Quikrete. See, I added a little bit more Quikrete. Now that I've got a nice consistency, I just literally scoop it into the mold and keep scooping till it fills up. Normally, I just get in there with my fingers, but I figure I'd have a little decorum when I'm doing a video for you guys. A couple more scoops should do it, and then I'm ready to tap, 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 and tap, and tap, and tap, and tap. Now I'll put it down and I'll just let it set up for a bit. And then here comes the magic. Here's the toothbrush. Watch carefully now. Now with the toothbrush, I tap down on the top, the little lip there that's going to make your edge. That's usually where all the bubbles are, and then you end up having to fill them. So I find if you tap and you tap all the way around, you'll see that there's gaps. And when you get those gaps, I just tap at the bottom and it brings the liquid up and it just fills in those gaps enough so that when you demold it, you don't have all these big craters that you have to fill in. And once you've gone all the way around and you've gotten all them bubbles out, give it a couple of taps on the bottom and then just let it sit. I usually keep it in a cool place and I let it cure for at least 24 hours before I demold. I try 2 days. That's usually the best. And then I take it out and I will leave it on top of the mold and then I will let it cure for another 7 days before I start to paint. I find once you've used the molds a few times, they start to loosen up a little bit. The first couple of times I tried to demold, I had to, get my manly husband to come and help me, but now they are quite easy to do. And you'll notice that lip where you usually get all those big craters along the top, it's fairly smooth. I just see one little crater, and that's going to be filled up with my paint. So when I'm painting my stones, my first coat is always going to be a sealer, and I use a full coat multi-surface paint. It gives great coverage, and I only need one coat, and it fills in any little divots, and it gives your acrylic base something to bite onto. So I'm going to do a light base on this one. So I'm going to use the white multi-surface paint. If I'm going to have a darker base, I'll use the black. And for the application, I'll use a fan brush, and I do quite a bit of strokes just to smooth it out. So it gives it a really smooth base for my base coat. So I scored this Fusion paint for free off the marketplace. I'm so happy. I got 5 containers like this in different colors. I can't wait to try them all. Normally, I just use a regular Deco Art Americana acrylic. This is the first time trying these fusion colors, and wow, does it ever cover great. And I can't wait to see the finish. Wow, I'm really impressed with the finish. This mat is just gorgeous. I'm going to use my chalk marker to mark out some guidelines, and it's going to be ready for dotting. I hope I've maybe helped you a little bit, gave you a couple of tips and tricks along the way, and you'll have smooth stones ready for dotting. Well, I hope you like my video, and I hope you subscribe. And remember, keep calm and noble on.